Wondering if you need accounting software for your business? Watch on. As business accountants, we spend all of our days helping business owners with tax, accounts, and all the related queries. And as a result, one of the questions we get asked a lot is, do I need something like Xero, Quickbooks, these cloud accounting software programs, as they're known, in my business? Or can I just carry on with my shoebox? Can I use a spreadsheet? Well, I'm going to tell you in this video. But before I answer this question, if you like these type of videos, be sure to click the subscribe button below so you get notified whenever we release another video. So the answer to the question is an interesting one, because it very much depends on your exact circumstances, but I'm going to give you a few thoughts on it. So if you're a sole trader, so you're a self-employed person, and quite often in the UK we get confused over what self-employed means, but I'm going to talk about it from a tax perspective. So if you're an individual, let's say stereotypically hairdressers, taxi drivers, barbers, those types of people, very normal sole trade, chippy, but potentially, that kind of stuff, then you only really need to know what your taxable income and taxable expenditure is to go on your tax return. That's the number one thing from a tax point of view that you're going to need to work out. So actually, a shoebox full of receipts, some accountants can help you take those, add up all of the numbers, and then put them usually into a spreadsheet that then they can pull those numbers from and stick them on your tax return. Or if you're doing it yourself, you could of course do that, and there's plenty of people who've done that for many, many years. So that does work, and currently there's no actual requirement to keep digital records for somebody who isn't VAT registered. So you can carry on doing that. I think if you're working with an accountant, you'll probably find there's a discount for putting it into a spreadsheet, or certainly like with a practice like ours, we give a discount for somebody who is using the cloud accounting product. And I'll talk to you in a minute about the benefits of how that might help in this situation. But in terms of, do you actually need it? No, you don't need it at all. Legally, there's no reason to keep digital records at the moment. Again, if you're under the VAT threshold, if you are over the VAT threshold, you do need to keep digital records because of the rules surrounding making tax digital, as it's known, that currently, at the time of recording this video, only applies to VAT registered businesses. They were actually going to be from this April, everybody was going to have this rule, but a lot of accounting bodies and the Federation of Small Business, those types of institutions, went back to Parliament and sort of lobbied against this introduction, because I think they looked at it as something that would be really, really easy for people to do, and unfortunately it really isn't that easy to do. I've got taxi drivers on our books, for example, that it's difficult enough to get them to write down each day what they've taken, so getting them to put it all into software and transmit it each quarter, as was discussed, was going to be really, really difficult. So thankfully at the minute that has actually been delayed, but they are saying it will come in at some point. So to future-proof yourself is one of the reasons why you should consider it. But currently, as a sole trader, you don't really need it. A spreadsheet will do the job. However, there are some benefits to do it, which I'll cover in a minute. Now, as a limited company, technically it's the same. You don't need it. Somebody can put together a set of accounts, and with a limited company it's slightly different in that your bookkeeping requirement, for me, is a much more intense one. It needs to be more accurate. Every penny needs to be accounted for, because you have to segregate the company's money from your money. As a sole trader, it doesn't really matter what happens. As long as you know what you got in and what went out for tax reasons, you're fine. For a limited company, you have to prepare a full set of accounts that show what the company owns, who owes what money to whom, and all the rest of it. So if you're a director, there's a thing called a director's loan account that's really important. It tells you how much money you owe back to the company or how much the company owes you. And a lot of the tax planning and efficiency around saving money with a limited company happens around that bit. And the only way you'd get to know that is to put together a full set of books. And that involves reconciling every penny that goes out of that bank versus your receipts that you've got and all that kind of stuff. So as a result, cloud accounting software, or some sort of accounting software, I view as a must with limiteds. But technically it is possible, and every year we come across people that are still using spreadsheets. As technology moves on, there really is not any reason why you shouldn't be looking for cloud accounting as a limited company. Now let's talk a little bit about the benefits, I suppose, of that, because at the end of the day, you're going to look at it and say, well, there's a subscription I've got to pay every month. That's how most of these software providers work. Why should I do that if a spreadsheet's going to be fine at the moment, and that's what I've always done? Well, firstly, studies show you get paid quicker. So some of my top highlights, I guess, of cloud accounting programs is very much you can invoice straight from it. So you can do that remotely wherever you are, as long as you've got an internet connection or a 4G connection on your phone. You can email straight from the program. It saves data. You can copy old invoices. You can set up individual items so that it pre-fills all the prices. It handles VAT. It handles CIS if you're in the construction industry. So all those things mean you invoice quicker, therefore you should get paid quicker. However, what the studies have shown is that if you build in something like Stripe or some of these other ways you can get paid via card, that can all be built into your invoice, and it actually does help you get paid quicker. So getting paid quicker would be a big one. The one for me as a business owner that I'm more interested in though is how much time does it save me? And if I was having to sit there and type every receipt into a spreadsheet with time, dates, what it was, all that kind of stuff, I'd get really, really frustrated quite quickly. It's quite possible now with the way that it works. You can connect to these bits of software. You can connect your bank in as just one really easy example, and then you go in each day and tell it what all the transactions are. You can set up rules so that it recognizes regular ones, and you can just press OK and it applies the rule, and it really does speed up your bookkeeping. So something we talk about a lot internally is trying to do it small and often so that you can then get on with your day and go and actually earn some money. Now, the other thing as accountants we love, of course, is it's really easy to collaborate with clients. So there's no user limit. So if you did, some people might have had Sage. That's a naughty word in our office. We're not a massive fan of it. And there was a desktop version that many accountants and businesses used for years. I'd argue these days there's no reason at all to have that product. It can be expensive, and whilst it has got some cool features on it, you can get the same sort of features in cloud or other products that plug into your cloud system, and they're more and more are being built every day as people innovate around these core bits of technology. So definitely check those out. Now, one of the restrictions to those type of programs is that you had to have multiple users. If you wanted multiple users, like you wanted your accountant to be able to look at your records, or you wanted someone else in the office to have it, you normally had to pay per license, per sort of seat, or per person really. With these online products, it's not like that. You can have as many users as you want, accessing all the time, and as a result, becomes really, really cost effective. And as accountants, you can add your accountant, they see the data you see. So if you're keeping your bookkeeping yourself, the accountant can go in and check and poke around and do their year end or whatever else they want to do for you, or give you advice in more real time because they can see where your figures are right now. Or if you've got an accountant or a bookkeeper doing it, you can also see their work to see if you're happy with where they've allocated things. That's a very normal thing then to be able to turn around to your accountant and say, actually, do you think we could allocate this here? Because for me, that makes more sense. And that's the collaborative thing about bookkeeping. So all that is made possible by these cloud products. Now, they're normally both an app on your phone and also on your PC or your tablet. So I always think they're more user-friendly on a bigger tablet or on a laptop or on a computer. But if you're just firing off a quick invoice or doing smaller bits, then you can do that easily through an app on your phone. And there's all these other technology things that plug in, like Receipt Bank, where you can actually take pictures. And when we're talking about digital records, at this moment in time, we're just talking about the transaction data being stored electronically. You don't need photos, but again, it's a cool thing to be able to have. And we love using it with our clients, because then if revenue and customs ever want to look at something, hand them the iPad, it's all there, poke around as much as you like, it's all lovely and clean, and you can see it all. So definitely worth looking at that as well if you're considering getting into the world of cloud accounting. So the biggest other saving, apart from time, which for me is the most important one, is tax. I always talk about this, but my number one tax saving tip is keep better records. Don't lose receipts. That's the number one thing. And with the technology being able to snap on some of these apps or just record it more live, you're less likely to miss those kind of receipts. And as a result, if you imagine the ones that I think go astray is, let's say you were out and about, you worked late, traveling to a temporary workplace, and you thought, I'm going to get myself a McDonald's on the way home. You paid cash, left the receipt in the car, or it blew out the window, or whatever, you'd lose that tax deduction potentially, because you might not remember later on in the year that you'd actually spent that money, and therefore you've lost your tax deduction. So these things really do help save tax as well. So to round that all off in summary, I think if you're a sole trader, you should strongly consider it if you're ambitious and you're looking to grow your business, because it does allow collaboration with accountants. It gives you a real handle on your figures and allows you to get paid quicker. But if you're limited, I'd argue you should have it, because this double entry, this full reconciled bookkeeping is so important to what you need to be doing. And of course, there's accountants you can outsource this to, bookkeepers you can outsource this to, or you can learn it yourself, or get to at least sort of to a good standard, so then an accountant can come in and sort of just move some bits around and help you out with that. So tons and tons of opportunity to collaborate as well. So that's it. Hopefully it's answered your questions. If you found this video useful, please do share it with your networks. And if you need any specific help with anything, please do get in touch. We'd love to chat.